very, very warm track temperature, the Nissan gets underway. A routine stop for the Mercedes team. This is the Bouchou-Nick Heidfeld car, with Heidfeld waiting to get in. And again, Mercedes also trying to clear the rubber off the radiator inlet so that the car doesn't overheat. Heidfeld looking very thoughtful there. And away they go. Now that's now Christophe Bouchou back in. Young Peter Dumbrek, the Scottish driver, has not yet had a turn at the wheel. On board with the Mercedes. Bouchou, a winner, remarkably, the first time he ever came to Le Mans, driving the Peugeot back at the beginning of the 90s. Christophe Bouchou has also won the Daytona 24 Hours and richly deserves his seat at Mercedes-Benz for Mercedes-Benz big year. Mercedes, of course, already down to just 2 cars after the dramatic aerial flip that happened to Australia's young Mark Webber this morning, Saturday morning, during the warm-up. Paul Webber had experienced the same aerodynamic problem in the 3rd Mercedes, which he was due to share with Jean-Marc Gounon during Thursday's qualifying laps. Mercedes have been worried about this, and for the race they've added new big extra trim tabs to the front of the nose of both the number 5 and number 6 Mercedes-Benz. The 4 car then simply never started after the second accident this morning, Saturday morning, in the warm-up. So, we've seen Bouchou take the first of the right-handed chicanes on the Mulsanne straight. The chicanes have been with us for about 15 years now, but it used to be one straight blind with the cars reaching over 240 miles an hour. Now they break down towards the second of the chicanes, the left-hand chicane, following the private Japanese-entered BMW. Little tweak of the tail there. As he overtakes one car, he finds his way blocked. The noise of the Mercedes-Benz is what everybody remarks upon. It sounds like a big, loud American car. Just there at the crest of the hill was where poor Mark Webber had his accident. He's fine. He's not hurt himself. Had his slight takeoff during warm-up this morning. But the Mercedes holding a very strong position here. Now he's reaching up as he accelerates up away from the end of the Mulsanne. The car is now moving at nearly 200 miles an hour as he comes up to the final right-hand kink that brings him down to Indianapolis corner. This is a very unstable part of the track. Got to get back over on the right-hand side, use the banking, and head up the short squirt to Arnage corner. Bouchou is really pressing on in this car now, really pressing on. I think that's a Toyota in front of him, who he's been closing down at what must be 3 or 4 seconds a lap. This now is the fastest part of the course. The Mercedes flying in pursuit of one of the Toyotas. You can see somebody's exhaust flaring out on the overrun up ahead, much more dramatic at night, as we will see in a few hours' time. Up the inside of one of the back-marking Porsches, and he really is right up behind the Toyota now. Bouchou is really flying. We've caught him on a very hot lap indeed. Trying to see if he can dive down the inside. These are all called the Porsche curves. Is he going to make it on the right? No, he isn't. Traffic ahead, he's going to have to hold up. Past the Viper, and now coming up to the Ford chicanes. The left, right, left, which is what leads us back onto the pit straight for the start of another lap of the exhausting Le Mans 24-hour course. The circuit of the South. And he's actually going to get past the Toyota as well, so this really was a quick lap, which we've been privileged to ride with Christophe Bouchou in the Mercedes CLR. Now then, we have the BMW V12s leading the Schneider Lamy Lagos Mercedes. But the open Audi is quite quick in a straight line and appears to be able to hold off the BMW. And they turn into Indianapolis. That's Pierluigi Martini there in the number 15 BMW open car. And it's very tight here coming into the Ford chicane before the start-finish line. The BMW has got in front of the Audi. He's lapped the Audi successfully. He's now got to negotiate. Oh, this is very tight. The two Rook Racing GTS Porsches. But he wends his way between them. One of those blue GTS Porsches, driven by the very rapid German lady Claudia Hürtgen, as they steam up towards the Dunlop S's. The Mercedes manages to sneak by the Audi under braking there as well, and there we just got a brief glimpse of the damn Lola. And this looks like a gearbox change, a complete gearbox change on the back of the Audi. From overhead now, from the balloon, we see just how fast and sweeping these curves are. The G-forces are tremendous, very tiring on the drivers as the night goes on. One heads for the pit lane, and the Mercedes carries on towards the start-finish line. A huge crowd here at Le Mans for the 1999 running. Joe Winkelhock waits his turn. Martini jumps out, Winkelhock in. Yes, all watched by the biggest crowd Le Mans has ever seen. The interest in the race this year, with so many manufacturers involved, has been greater than ever before. The Schnitzer team so efficient. And away he goes, still lying second, the number 17 BMW. With the Boutsen McNish car in the lead, and we have a replay here of more dramas. The GTS class Porsches seem to be having dramas all the time. That is the Portuguese entered Montero brothers car, and here we have a Toyota actually in the garage. They're looking at something there. Yes, the Montero car's now got a puncture. The Toyota mechanics appear to be looking at something on the rear axle or in the gearbox area of the car. Hard to see at this distance. The number 1 Toyota, but the Mercedes noticeably quick in a straight line, cresting the rise there as you come down to the braking area at the end of a long Mulsanne straight. The Toyota lights ablaze. Make sure the slower cars see them. Here we go. Oh my God, the Mercedes has taken off. That's Peter Dumbreck at the wheel of the number 5 Mercedes. The car flew right up in the air, over the barriers, over the wire, and into the trees. Let's look at this again. This is an awful accident. An awful accident. He moves out of the slipstream of the Toyota, and the car just takes off. That looks horrifically like a replay of what happened to Mark Webber, who I hasten to add, but that's a big impact. Look at the earth thrown up. That is a very big impact. Shock and horror and amazement in the Mercedes garage. They can't believe it's happened again. The mechanics, a dreadful sense of responsibility and concern, and we are now on board the Chrysler Viper. The pace car is out, the safety car, as we must call it. Dominic Dupuy at the wheel there, and the world's press has gathered outside the door of the Mercedes-Benz pits. And there is Dumbreck's car. Flat, but at least it appears to be, the car appears to be windscreen side up, by which I mean that the impact may at least have been somewhat cushioned by the inherent strength of the car. What drama for Mercedes-Benz and poor Peter Dumbreck. We will bring you news as soon as we hear. There is the Chevrolet Corvette safety car pulling off. The medics have done their work. The course clean-up cars have done their work. The car was clear off the track. Looking at that overhead shot, it appeared to be about 100 meters inside the public enclosures. We wait to hear further news. Meanwhile, the race is underway again, and in the lead is the number 1 BMW, followed there by the Ferrari 333 SP, who we had not seen very much of. So the order at this stage is the Leto BMW leading the second Toyota of Boutsen from the teammate BMW V12.